Everything's on. Mic is on. I just want to talk about a few movies that I watched over the course of winter break. Starting with F1 the movie. I actually watched it shortly before winter break, but that's fine. Also, this is a new room, I think.
Justice.
I quite enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of F1, so it was nice. I like that it wasn't just a documentary style movie, but it was actually unique characters, new this, new that. And that's my review. I thought Sonny was a little weird. It's like it's this guy who's just the best. He's randomly the best. He's homeless, but he's the best. And my biggest gripe with the movie, he does a bunch of illegal stuff, and he just gets away with it. Like real life, he would have been disbanded after the first race. Like the FIA does not mess around with that stuff. So a little bit annoyingly unrealistic. I mean, I get that it's a movie again. Doesn't have to be realistic, but it's a little bit annoying to see that. I thought his character was kind of weird. I thought the romance was kind of weird. Again, I did enjoy the movie. There's just a lot of stuff that I can't really get behind, One of which was the romance. It's a big thing is they always they introduce a female character, and it's like from the very first thing, she's meant to be like this. Like I don't want to say girl boss, but like come on. She's she calls him out. She's like, I know you want to have sex with me, or whatever. And she's set up to be like, the first female director or whatever. And she just ends up being a love interest. I just thought that was kind of weird. Let me see. The movie I watched after that was Bullet Train. See the connection there, Oh, come on. See the connection there, it's Brad Pitt, he's in both movies. It's all planned. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was wacky and zany. Which I think there needs to be more of those these days, because I feel like everything's too serious nowadays. We had I'm gonna sound like some kind of film snob. We had like a big superhero phase for movies. For a while, it felt like if you weren't being goofy, you just get no fans. And now I feel like the culture has tried to bounce back so hard off of that. Like, now we need every movie to be deep and emotional and thought-provoking. And it's like, I miss the zany movies, But this definitely felt like a movie and also, before I talk about Bullet Train, it feels like these movies, they try so hard to be deep that they end up being shallow. Now, isn't that just, incredible work for me? I should not have gone this way. Tainted Isaac, not a good idea. They try to be deep, but in the pursuit of being deep, they just end up being less impactful. Bullet Train shows me that a movie can be wacky, zany, a million adjectives, and still end up being really good. I thought all the acting was good, especially of that guys in the suits. I thought their story was really impactful. Oh no. And it was a really nice movie. I loved the action. My only complaint is Joey King, who played the girl. Like they play it up like she's a little girl, and no one expects a little girl to be like an assassin. but she does not look like a little girl at all. She looks like a grown woman in like a little girl outfit. It just is not. Like, stop it. I wish they cast like an actual kid or something. That's my it's really my only complaint. I thought the rest of the movie was good. I think it does suffer a little though in the I think I just said it's my only complaint, but another one is that it suffers a bit from, like action rules where sometimes things just happen. What am I trying to say? Sometimes the story should go a certain way, but they put characters in certain scenes, like, or certain battles, and in order to get them out of the battles, they kind of, they make it a little weird. They bend the rules a little. They forget logic for a moment to keep the movie going. And I get that, you have this big story planned, but it's like if the main character wins out of luck, and I'm not saying this happened, this definitely happened in Bullet Train, but I'm saying the main character wins based off luck, it just ruins my mood. It's unearned, and it just feels like everything that happens after that point in the movie is just it's all based on one lucky moment, and I'm just not a fan of that. Now, I'm not saying that definitely happened in Bullet Train because it's been kind of a while since I watched the movie. I mean, it was at the beginning of winter break. But that's just a gripe. I feel like I remember stuff happening that was sort of similar to that. Not exactly the same. I'll take Pop. After that, what did I watch? 21 Jump Street. Why did I watch it? Because I saw a bunch of clips on TikTok. Well, I didn't really watch them. It just shows up in my For You page a lot. I try to avoid these ones so in case it's like a really good movie that I watch later on, I don't actually like get spoiled and it ruins my experience. Try to skip through those, but again, everyone's always glazing 21 Jump Street, so I wanted to see what the hype is about, and I have to say it was very funny. I thought the romance was weird because it's like a, 20-something police officer trying to get with a 18-year-old high school student. I think that's a little strange. How I'm not like a police officer, but still. Still, fun movie. And actually, surprisingly, because like I always hear, oh, it's the funniest movie. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say, oh, it's such a deep, impactful movie. Surprisingly enough, it tells a very interesting story about like acceptance and stuff like that, and like how it affects your life, or how it affects your self-image being accepted. I liked how they did sort of a reversal of Schmidt and the other guy, Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum. I like how they do a reversal, and they tell a very interesting story through that, and I gotta say, I commend them for that. Take a tears up. After that, I of course had to watch the second one, because these comedy sequels, they come a dime a dozen and they usually suck. It's not often that they have one where it's like, oh, the cast in the sequel, oh, it's the characters from the first movie. And people say it's just as funny, if not funnier than the first one. I watched that, and I have to say, it felt, I don't know about funnier, but it definitely felt more impactful for me. Which again, not a part that people talk a lot about, but still a part that I was impressed by. So I have to say, my holistic review, both of them thumbs up, I'll recommend. I also recommend Bullet Train and F1 the movie. After watching those two movies, I decided to do something crazy. And mind you, at the beginning of winter break, I did not plan to watch a couple movies. It just so happened that I tried one out. I had a lot of free time, so I kept trying them out, and it was worth it. After watching 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street, I decided to watch the Avatar movies. Well, I only really cared about the first one. I wasn't really planning to watch the other two, but I just ended up doing it because, yeah, I liked the first one. Up until Fire and Ash, or whatever the last one is called, up until that movie came out, I had no idea what the plot of Avatar was. I just thought it was like a documentary style movie about blue people, a blue alien species. Turns out, I found this out from like TikToks about the third movie is like some guy switching, like some guy from the first movie becoming an avatar in the third movie and getting with a girl. Like that's all I knew about the third movie, and I'm like, wait, that's like an extra part of the movies that I never knew. Like they can switch into humans. And then let's see. So I watched the first one. Finally found out what the plot is. It's actually pretty nice, in my opinion. Pretty fun. I say fun. A pretty good movie. Movies. A little too symbolic, you know. A little too metaphoric. A little too what's the word? Double entendre. I mean, let me see. What are some words I'm thinking of? Ooh. I'll definitely take it. There's options. Okay, well now I have to decide which is the first to go. Probably Pop. Pop and then Little Chubby and then the Speed Up. And then Aquarius? It's hard to say. A lot of words. Point is, it felt a little too artsy at times, and I know it's the criticism makes me sound like I'm some kind of conservative movie reviewer, but it did. It felt like they were trying hard to be beautiful, and I should say the CGI was really good. But at a certain point, it's like, we get it. Their culture is beautiful. Like, can we stop with the slowdown shots of them chilling and into the action, please? Maybe the movies just aren't mostly for me, but still, I enjoyed the story a lot. Out of the three of them, let's see. First one was definitely my favorite because it was the most interesting. It told a mostly complete story. I find it interesting. Like, I don't think they were planning to make sequels when the first one came out because, I mean, maybe they were, but they tied everything up very neatly. Then, of course, no, you gotta think like, well, wait a second, the humans can just come back, so how is this a victory exactly? And it's actually true. In the second movie, the humans do come back, and I find it interesting that the first movie felt complete, like there wasn't a sequel plan, and yet there were still questions to be answered that they made a second movie for. Well, first reason to make a second movie is of course the money, but it was also a nice story. Second movie was boring though, I gotta be honest. Third movie, less boring, but kind of weird at times. I don't even know why anymore. I keep saying the same thing. It's weird, everything's weird. But that's it for Avatar. Finally, I think I watched one more movie. It could honestly be possible that I'm completely forgetting an entire movie that I watched, but after that I watched the very popular Christmas movie, Die Hard. Right, Die Hard. I watched Die Hard. My review, it was fun. It was fun. I like the characters, the character story. I like how the the McLean, he calls the police, and what ends up happening is the police actually show up. Like some horror movies and these types of movies, they work really hard to convince you to find a way that the police don't get involved. Because once the police get involved, well, it's over, right? I mean, what is um, Michael Myers gonna do against 10 dudes with guns? He can't do anything, they'll shoot him. But in this movie, it actually makes sense that the police can't do anything. So they're not afraid of pulling them up. In fact, it's like part of the villain's plan is to get a bunch of police officers to deactivate the power so that the stuff happens. I wasn't gonna be honest. I wasn't completely convinced on that part, but it was a nice movie. It was a nice movie. And I guess that's it. I have no movies left to talk about. So that was my review. Hope you enjoyed.